Welcome everyone, I hope you're having a very wonderful day, and welcome to my guide for Northern Red Muntjac for Sundarpatan. Before we begin, I want to quickly break down on how today's guide's going to work. So our first section will be covering their hotspots and locations, and then we're going to move on to weapon recommendations, and then end today's video with the animal profile, which will be custom map, time zones, ammo chart, and more. Everything you need to make your hunting life 10 times easier. So let's get right into it with their drinking time. These guys drink between 15 to 18. And before we get in their hotspots and locations, I want to quickly talk about how to hunt these guys. So these guys are unique. They're not in any large groups, as you guys can see here. They're pretty much all single animals or in a pair. So the problem is if you have a level 3 male, like this guy's a level 2, but assume he's a level 3. You might assume that he probably is in a pair or a single. So typically how I deal with this situation is I would kill him and all the females around him just in case that if he was in a duo, that group will respawn. Because if you kill a male and just leave the female there, that group will not respawn at all. And if you're trying to get a dime of these, I recommend only killing level 3s and ups. Now let's go talk about these hotspot locations where you're going to get consistent Muntjac respawns. The bottom 3 lakes here at the bottom right corner of the map will have all the Muntjac respawns that you certainly will need. And I'm going to showcase this lake really quick. Relax, Nugget. It's okay. So we got this level 2 here, and then if we scan across to the right here, we'll have another group across the way, which will have a bunch of females. Level 2 male, another female, and a level 3. And then we'll come off to the right hand side here where we're going to have more Muntjac just resting along this bank here. So you're going to want to consistently come to these lakes to check because they're constantly restocked. But now let's talk about their general area. So we're going to start right here at the very tip of the river. Now when you're going to be out there hunting them, they're going to be mostly here down at the bottom part of the river section, close to the bottom of the map. But you're going to have some areas where they will be in the middle section of the river. But we'll get to that when we get to there. So we're just going to follow this along just so you guys can see the full extent of their range. So we're basically just following this river all the way up to their endpoint. Now this is where you're going to have some Muntjac on the other side in the middle section along these little islands here, which you will spot them when you're out there hunting. Now there's another point on this river stretch where they go a little bit further than what I believe they should, which is up here in this middle section right there. So just keep that in mind when you're out there. That's the only tricky area in terms of the Muntjac hunting that you'll have to keep your eyes out for if you possibly might need to be looking for that level 5 if it does respawn. So just keep that in mind. It's just that one location, but that's pretty much it. All the rest of them stay to the very bottom portion of this river along this embankment. So if we keep following it down here, now they also, I do want to point out, they will go into this little river cove area. I don't know how to explain that location, but we'll keep moving along all the way down here, all the way to this endpoint. So right here at this little island here, that's at the end of this river that goes out of the map, that's their final location. So they pretty much just reside this whole entire river coast, and that's pretty much it in terms of their locations and hotspots. So we're going to head back to the outpost where I'm going to be covering a few of my favorite weapons to hunt these guys, so I will see you guys there in just a second. Alrighty folks, so here we are back at the outpost. Before we begin, I want to mention quickly 3 things. First things first is I'm only going to be covering rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I'll not be covering bows because I'm not a bow expert, so I'll leave that to the professionals. Secondly, these are just my personal recommendations and favorites. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits you and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning whatever deals these weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So let's get right into it with our first rifle in today's video. The Ranger 243 is probably the best rifle in terms of making money because it's the rifle that you get at the very start of the game, so it's free. And the soft point ammo itself is free as well. Now the only downside to it is the soft point ammo is kind of finicky in this game, in my opinion. Overall though, it's still free. It's the best rifle in terms for your bang for your buck. You have 5 rounds in there, low recoil, and it'll definitely get the job done on these Muntjac. Moving on to our second rifle today, which is my go-to, the 22-250 is one of my favorite small game rifles in Call of the Wild. It covers classes 2 through 4, so it can take out these deer. So you guys know that this thing has a little bit of power behind it, and it will drop these Muntjac with relative ease. In all honesty, it has the same rounds in there, the same magazine size, and it just has a little bit less recoil in my opinion. So it does the job very well. I enjoy it, and you can take out both Muntjac with this thing due to that low recoil with ease as well. And you can find this in the Emerald Coast Pack DLC, which is a very good map. In all honesty, it has a lot of good animals on it, so I recommend picking it up and getting this rifle as well. Moving on to our final rifle today, the Zarza 15223. Now this is your jungle rifle. It kind of gives me the Vietnam vibes, the M16. It's a very fun rifle. It definitely drops these Muntjac, and this is our only semi-auto option in terms of dealing with these small animals. So this thing is a very good choice, and if you're trying to get both the male and females, or try to take out as many as you can, this is the rifle for you if you're trying to get those full integrity kills. 5 rounds in there, low recoil, very solid rifle, and you can find it in the Modern Rifle Pack DLC. Moving on to handguns, the 243 Kumo is one of the best handguns in Call of the Wild. The only downside to it is you only have 1 round in the tube. Overall, though, what makes it the best is that you can put a rifle scope on it, which just beats out all the other pistols in the game, other than the 4570 Jernberg, which is basically the same class of pistol as this. You put rifle scopes on that as well. Now, if you want to level up your pistols and hunt Muntjac, this is the pistol for you. Very solid choice, highly recommend it, and you can find it in the Assorted Sidearms Pack DLC. Moving on to shotguns, which you guys can probably automatically assume I'm going to be recommending here if you've watched all my other videos. The Norden 20 gauge is just a very fun shotgun that you can use. You can load up buckshot on this and go to town on these little Muntjac. You have 3 rounds of the tube, semi-auto shotgun. Not really much more to talk about there, and you can find it in the Duck and Cover Pack DLC. So that's pretty much it for the weapon recommendation part, guys. I'm going to head over to the animal profile and see you guys there in just a second. Alrighty folks, so here we are at the end of today's video. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to do a quick animal profile breakdown. Starting on the left hand side, we have all of our basic red Muntjac information. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, and diamond threshold. We have our weight from least to greatest in kilograms and in pounds. We have our fur types common and very rare. Moving on to the center map, we pretty much covered all that information at the very beginning of today's video. Moving on, in the top right hand corner, we have all of our time zones nice and organized for you. And then below that, we have the ammo chart for those full integrity kills. So that pretty much does it for today's video, folks. If you guys enjoyed and this guide does help, please drop a like. It really helps out the channel. With all the way, I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.